What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here to talk about the upcoming Kizuna clash versus Orochi. So we do have some very initial information about what the boss fights are going to be like, so we can kind of construct something from it, and there are still some things we don't know. And of course, when the official Kizuna does go live, remember this is a super boss Kizuna, when it does go live, I'll bring you guys a video breaking down each of these boss fights in greater detail, including showing off free-to-play teams, which I will be showing in this video as well. But of course, it really does come down to what typings each of these bosses actually are, and that's going to be very, very important, because I will be showing some teams in this video, but very speculative. Take it with a grain of salt, because some of the boss colors may be different from what people are assuming, okay? So just keep that in mind. But we will be talking about it very briefly. Before we do that, let's actually talk about this brand new super boss free-to-play Orochi character. Now, out of all the super boss characters that have released thus far on Treasure Cruise, I feel like this is probably one of the weaker ones. This character just doesn't really seem that exciting. Do they go through both? Okay, no, just one. Okay, so if there are 6 driven characters on your crew, boost the attack by 4 times, and if there are 5 or more strength characters, boost the HP by 1.3 and make quick and dex beneficial to the crew. It's just a very, it's a very weird captain ability. I personally don't like it that much, because it requires not only 6 driven, but then also having a lot of strength units on your team as well. I guess if you want to build like a mono driven team and you're up against the dex boss, yeah, that's a pretty solid free-to-play option, but a little too situational for my liking. And remember that this is a character that is like just a 5-star unit, and then you get his skulls to super evolve him in the super boss Kizuna, right? So you want to actually play to get this guy super evolved. But then his special ability reduces bind, despair, attack down, and special bind by 3. Also boosts the orbs of driven characters by 2 times for 2 turns. And if the crew has consumed 10 or more strength slots with normal attacks prior to launching the special, you get a 3.25 times chain lock for 1 turn. So it's just a pretty average special. Like, I mean, the utility's fine, but only 3 turn removal's a bit lame. The orb boost is acceptable, especially because it is a free-to-play unit, so you shouldn't be expecting the world. But then if you consume 10 strength slots before launching the special, you get a 3.25 chain. Like, it's just weird, man, because to get this naturally is actually pretty hard. You're not ever gonna get this. Realistically, you're really not, unless if you're using like the brand new super type final tap Kaido as a captain, because yeah, I guess you could kind of use that in a way, because I think Kaido does increase the chances of strength slots appearing. So this guy's kind of just built to be like a sub on Final Tap Kaido team. So I assume that they're gonna have something planned for that Final Tap Kaido at some point. Immune to blow away, and then boost the attack. Okay. Dude, why do they remove special bind, but they don't have a special bind removal crewmate effect? Absolute trash. Critical hit, enrage, and slot bind. I mean, 7 turn slot bind's okay. Terrible support effect. Strength teammates, HP level 5, guard up level 5, pretty average. 25 CT, strength teammates for level 4 defense. 1 teammate with the highest HP for 2500 healing and provoke. Man, this unit's just so average in almost every way. This unit is just not that exciting. It's pretty underwhelming, considering, you know, it is a super boss Kizuna. We're expecting these units to be pretty top tier, and this unit is not a top tier character. So now, talking about the actual Kizuna itself, so we do have a little bit of information, and we don't know what color each of these bosses are going to be. So people have taken what the gimmicks are for that fight and kind of tried to place it with boosted characters to assume what typing the boss is going to be. So the first one here, which is titled as the left Kizuna Orochi, because the image shows a left, a middle, and then a right column. So the one on the left side of this of the image that was shown gives us stage 1 of cooldown for free spirit, slasher, and fighter characters. We have stage 2, which gives bind to the top left, middle right, and the bottom left character. And then on the final boss Orochi, will go ahead and give you a health cut, changes orbs to badly matching, and then gives you a certain amount of despair to both of your captains. And then when you kill him, he does huge damage to your team, right? So with a health cut and also doing huge damage, you want to reduce that. So obviously you've got the brand new Shinobu that was accessible via the Kizuna Sugo Fest, but more importantly, you got access to the V2 Odin. V2 Odin special allows you to block damage as well as heal, because if you're below 50%, he heals and gives you damage reduction, which will enable you to block this death hit. And also the fact that he gives you badly matching slots, Odin's super type or super class special gives you a full border matching slots. So it makes sense that this is built to be used with Odin. people are assuming that this is going to be an int-based boss. Now, after a certain HP threshold, which we know is after level 30, the health cut that is given to you is actually increased, and then you actually get given a certain amount of attack down, so just really annoying gimmicks here. So this is just the free-to-play team that I have built for this particular quest. So we're going to be using Odin as the friend captain because we've already talked about how he's just basically perfect for this fight. We're using this TM Zoro as a captain because he's a 4x boost to free spirit characters. Now, not all the characters on this team are free spirit, but like all of them except for Komurasaki are free spirit, so it works out quite well. Komurasaki, speaking of her, she is here because she actually removes the bind for us. She removes 2 turns of bind, and remember that it's the character in your top left, middle right, bottom left. So these 3 characters are the characters that receive bind on stage 2. So make sure that your bind remover is either via a support or in one of those 3 positions there. So she has double special activation. She can remove 4 turns of bind. If you have Whitey Bay support, for example, you can put that on there to remove an additional 2 turns if need be, or another support. Either way, you know, you can get around it pretty easily, I would think. I wouldn't expect it to be more than 5 turns, right? Now, in terms of everything else, we've got Otama, which allows us to get rid of Despair, but I'm not too sure how many turns of Despair it is. We may need more turns of Despair removal, just keep that in mind. We've also got Shanks here, which can also go ahead and give us a chain boost, which is actually really, really good. He's also there as a bind remover. You know, obviously with Komurasaki, you can use him on that stage prior if you need it. Sabo is here because he now enables us to get the attack down removal after a certain HP threshold. Plus, he also gives us color affinity, which is pretty great. Zoro does an orb boost. This guy does an attack boost and color affinity. This guy does the attack boost and orb boost, whatever it is. You can use the combination of these 2 characters to get a pretty big buff. Odin's superclass special, which we already touched up on, we can proc it because we have Hiyori or Komurasaki on the team. So it's not the best free-to-play team out there, but it is a free-to-play team that should work. But remember, keep it in mind that if the boss is not an int character, this team will definitely need to be changed. So we're not going to talk about the super boss in this video. I'll be covering that when it actually officially releases because they can be tricky to build for, but I'm very excited to jump into super boss whenever it does get released. But let's talk about this second one right here. So this second boss, we have stage 1, we get cooldown for free spirit, cerebral characters, and slasher characters. Now we also do get the effect on stage 2 where there is going to be threshold damage reduction. I expect it to be 3, 4, or 5 turns of threshold damage reduction, and then the final boss has the effect to change orbs into recovery, and then recovery slots are treated as badly matching for your team, and also a certain amount of defense up is applied to the enemy as well, and after a certain HP threshold, additional turns are added to that defense up, and also you're given special bind. So the thing that really stands out is the fact that you're given recovery slots, and Kinemon and Denjiro as a captain do change recovery slots into Wano, which is perfect, and something about the super boss as well does mention that if your chain exceeds 4.1, then you are getting attacked down, right? So people are thinking that's Izo and Okiku because they give you a 3.5 times chain lock, and if you use one of their super type specials, it becomes a 3.8, which just gets you very, very close to this value. So a lot of people are thinking that this entire center column of the image that was shown is for a strength boss because you have Kinemon and Denjiro, which can be quick, Izo and Okiku, which are quick and also very useful for this quest. So that is what people are thinking, that this is likely going to be a strength boss, but we just don't know at this current point in time. So assuming that this is all going to be a strength boss, this is the team that we have here that is a free-to-play team with Kinemon Denjiro as the friend captain. We have Hyogoro, which is a really nice addition, which can also not only just remove more increased defense, which, you know, Kinemon and Denjiro already remove, but he's also a color affinity booster. Ashura Doji is going to be really great on the final boss stage because he's able to give us a huge conditional boost, though I don't know if that's going to be allowed either way because of, you know, immunities and stuff like that. But also he does remove special bind, which is very important because we do need to remove some of that later on. We've got Margaret, which is just a free-to-play unit here that just is an attack booster. In this instance, it's only providing a 1.75 times attack boost, so it's nothing crazy. And then Zora is ideally just used on stage 2 to give us the ability to remove the damage threshold on the mini-boss stage. But depending on what color that mini-boss is, Zora may need to be replaced because if it's a dex boss and like it is a strength boss at the end, so you want to build a quick team, if it is a dex boss on stage 2, activating Zoro is not that useful because he does give us color affinity boost, which is mean it's going to be very hard to kill that mini boss on stage 2. So do keep that in mind. Could be a little bit tricky. Zoro may need to be replaced with another threshold remover. Ashura Doji is also a threshold remover, so you could just use him on stage 2 and then replace Zoro with another special bind remover. That can definitely work. And then we've got a free spot because we're already doing so much damage. I didn't really know what to put in there, but this is a pretty substantial free-to-play team that should be able to deal with it, so long as that boss is a strength unit. So, you know, keep that in mind and just take it with a grain of salt. So the last one here is the right column that was shown on the image. Now this one here gives cooldown to strength sign int characters, and because we've already had an int boss, we've had a strength boss, at least that's what we assume. Because of these cooldowns, we think that this last boss is going to be a psi boss, so you're ideally building int team for this fight. You can see on stage 2 we get a certain amount of % damage reduction. A rainbow shield is applied on stage 2, and then Orochi on the final stage, he's going to change your orbs into block and then give you a certain amount of paralysis, and then after a certain HP threshold, so post level 30, he gives you additional turns of paralysis and then also adds resilience to his kit. So a lot of just really pesky effects. So as I said, this is assuming the fact that this is a psi boss and then we're building an int boss for this fight. So overall, I'm not really too happy with this team right now, but it does allow you to get through all of the effects even post level 30. We do have the Reiju here as the captain, because Reiju as a captain is pretty good. I mean, it's 3.5 boost to quick and int, so it's not the highest in terms of damage, but it has a really useful effect in the captain ability that reduces 1 turn of paralysis. Now, because it already gives paralysis on, you know, as soon as you enter the fight, and then post level 30, additional paralysis is added, I would assume it's maybe only 1 additional turn of paralysis, maybe going from 5 to 6, and if that is the case, then having Reiju as a captain is really good. If that is not the case, and then the maximum amount of paralysis that you get is like 5, then this Crocodile will be fine, because Crocodile changes the block slots into matching, but also allows you to remove 5 turns of despair and paralysis, and also provides a chain boost. Crocodile probably could be replaced with something else, because we are already, you know, having a chain boost with Yamato, and also using her special to get the Wano slots from the block slots, and that just works very, very well. We've also got Luffy here just as an attack booster. That's literally the only reason why he's here. Same with Olin, like, only reason why she's here is because she provides the orb boosting effect, which is really, really good. And then Kid enables us to get around the resilience post level 30. Before level 30, Kid is not required at all, but definitely if you have summonable and legend characters, replace them with characters on this team to get even higher damage potentials, because very, very low multipliers that we have here, but it does get around all of the gimmicks in this fight, so long as that boss is actually a side boss. That is pending, of course, and of course when we do get that information and the actual event is live, I'll bring you guys a full breakdown of all the boss stages in terms of all of the gimmicks, and show you guys multiple teams versus these fights, but just getting you guys a little bit prepared so you guys know what to expect for this upcoming Kizuna clash. And if you guys want to go ahead and have a look at all of this for yourself, it is on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord in the Kizuna battle channel. Definitely check it out just to make sure you're 100% prepared for this upcoming Kizuna clash, because it is a super boss and you want to make sure you got all your teams prepared so you can get as many tokens as possible, so you and your alliance can work together to go ahead and beat this this super boss, so you can go ahead and get amazing rewards, of course. But anyways, that is going to conclude this video today. Thank you very much for watching, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.